This is not what I expected my first YouTube video to be, but hi, my name is Becca. I live in Los Angeles, and this is what's in my go bag. Everything I packed when I evacuated my place during the fires. I am just now bringing it all back in from the car because I have been too anxious to unpack. A couple of things to sort of like lay the baseline here, a little bit about what was going on. My partner was out of town traveling for work, so I was handling all of this on my own. We are very well equipped for an earthquake. We have an extensive disaster kit. I'm prepared to hold down the fort, to have my place become a base camp. I have even thought about digging my stuff out of the rubble, but I have never really thought about what would happen if I couldn't come back. And I did think about it a lot that night when I was packing things up. So it started with the essentials and then it moved well beyond. And if there's ever been an intro to everything I kind of hold dear, I think it's probably in these bags. So when I first thought about packing up, it actually wasn't even my idea. I was starting to charge batteries and external chargers, make sure that I had stuff on me for a blackout because the winds were picking up. And then my partner called and was like, can you also pack a go bag because fires? And I was like, oh, yeah. We laughed about his list because it was very him. And then I started packing up all of his stuff and figured, you know, as long as I was doing his, I should do mine as well. So passports, his and mine. Got some cash. I keep a little stash of cash. I'm a photographer, so I have a little stash of tips that people give me. I just hold on to them for earthquake cash. Wallet, sunglasses. I intentionally grabbed my biggest sunglasses that I could think of because I was like, if I don't have goggles to protect me, I may as well have a big pair of sunglasses. Gum, Trident Original, the only gum I ever chew. And then I've got a whole little baggie of lip stuff. This is from Cezanne. I got it in Paris. Back in 2020, I actually went to Paris, New Zealand, and Puerto Rico at the beginning of 2020 before the world shut down. It was a story for another day. Wild beginning of a year. Edam lip treatment is so good. Violette FR Bisou Jelly. Their Bisou Balm and Bisou Jelly are some of my absolute favorites. They have like the most natural flush of color. RMS lip lights. This is one of those like pH ones. It's got like a pinky tint to it. And then Paula's Choice hyaluronic acid and peptide lip booster. Also a Jones Road pencil. These are like a little concealer pencil. They're really good for touch-ups on the go. I don't like to bring like liquidy things out with me, which I guess goes into this. There's a little Lake and Sky vanilla, little roller ball. I think mostly in here because the roller ball is nice for transport. And then little Listerine strips. I'm a photographer. I often am a little dehydrated during shoots, especially weddings, because I'm just running around all day. It's hard to drink as much water as I would normally need, and I get a little paranoid about having bad breath. And keys. This little flashlight, very handy. I just got this from Dee Rose Jewelry. I think it's gonna live on my keychain now. It's not like I grabbed it specially, but in 2004, when I moved to Los Angeles, I went to the Grove, the farmer's market at the Grove, and was walking around with some friends, and I bought this little California keychain at a kiosk. And then after I bought it, I was like, oh my God, is that so cheesy that I bought myself a California keychain when I just moved to California? Like, I live here now. I don't need the thing. 20 years later, I still have it. Not cheesy. Fucking cool. Can I curse here? I need to look up the rules. I don't know the rules. I think that's everything. Oh, and a mask. One bag down. This I mostly packed up with valuables and things because it does zip on the top. It's also just a nice sturdy bag that I love and I wanted to take with me. A thrifted purse I got for like $1 at a yard sale. Fragrance samples. This is just fragrance samples. A lot of nice fragrance samples. We'll get there, a little bit delirious, probably, because I stayed up all night. I guess if I'm going down, I'm going down smelling good. What are you? I discovered this artist, Brittany V. Wilder, on TikTok, and I bought a calendar of hers from this project she has where she writes this phrase, and it never will be again, every day that she's in her studio with the date, and I love it. Along with the calendar came a little zine called Ordinary Days, and it just has, oh, I'm gonna cry. Just has like photos and texts, little notes of ordinary days. And it was sitting on my vanity, so I grabbed it when I was packing up my jewelry and my fragrances. Like, I grabbed quite a few fragrances. This is my partner's, Guerlain Avis Rouge. I got that for him for Christmas last year, I believe. And since he wasn't here to grab things, I was like, I'm just gonna take a guess at what you would want. This is L'air de Rien from Miller Harris. This is Jane Birkin's perfume. It only goes on sale once a year, and I love it. Musc Ravageur. This is my most expensive fragrance, purchased at Costco. Pro tip. L'Eau Papier from Diptyque. I think I just did one of those. Everything that I've been wearing recently, if it was a full bottle, and then apparently also if it was in the sample bag. Andrea Mac Ceramic. This I just got for Christmas. It is Arso from Parfum Aroma, and I love this scent. I don't know that I will be wearing it anytime soon because it smells like smoke. This little bottle's gonna last me a while. The box that Arso came in, I filled it up with some grandma jewelry. I would love to do an actual like full jewelry tour at some point. I know a lot of people have asked for that in other places, and I have never had enough time, so maybe that is a thing that I could dive into. I've got so much grandma jewelry. This little roll came from my partner's G-Paw. This has, oh, some extra things that couldn't fit. This is a charm bracelet from my grandma that I have on another chain because I like to wear it as a necklace. Another bracelet, little cameo bracelet from my grandma, and then this pendant, which I have a matching ring for as well. A magical ring, if you know that story. If you don't know that story, let me know and I can tell it here. This is a real bag in a bag situation. Cuticle oil, which I should use. This is a bag charm that I made last year around my birthday at a Don't Let Disco bead bar. A couple more grandma. This matching bracelet and necklace. I wear these for so many different costume type things. They work really well for 20s stuff. They're a little bit gothy. And this guy doesn't honestly get a lot of play, but when I do wear it, it's pretty epic. Ooh, this I got from my partner's mom over the holidays. A little beaded necklace that I thrifted. Travel jewelry case. I put in here all of the rings that I was wearing because I didn't want to ding anything up, like loading up the car and doing whatever I needed to do, and then a whole bunch of charms as well. If we do a whole jewelry tour, I can go through so much of this stuff. Oh, and there's something in... This is in my Invisalign case, which doesn't have anything in it because my retainers, my little night guard, is definitely floating free in another bag. My partner's stuff from like the lockbox, and I think this is mine, social security card, birth certificate, cash, that kind of stuff. Oh my God. I am really glad that I remembered this. I bought myself a piece of jewelry last year, really nice piece of jewelry that I was waiting to gift myself, delayed gratification style. I put it away in a drawer and I was like, I will give this to myself as a present. Next year, I remembered to take it out of the drawer in my delirious state and put it into the bag with my valuables. You are very smart, Becca. A dirty, old, ripped apron. I don't know if it was my mom's or my grandma's and then my mom's, but I wore it all growing up, and it was one of the things that I immediately claimed for myself when I moved out on my own. I love this thing. Pretty sure my thought process, I'm pretty sure this was sitting next to the door, and my thought process was, you need sunscreen. Did you pack enough sunscreen? Probably not. Take this, put it in the bag, let's go. Smart. And packed up in a scarf that was just sitting around because I hadn't put it away from the holidays, my jewelry box. This is my jewelry box. My big jewelry box is one of those stackers ones that you get from the Container Store. It has like all the different layers. It's modular, so you can just keep adding to it. That was too big for me to put into a bag, so I was taking the stuff that meant something out of it. But this is the equivalent of taking your laundry basket when you leave, knowing that it is all of the things that you have worn most recently. This is that for me. This is where I put stuff when I take it off at the end of the night. So everything that I had worn in the last week or so, all of that is in here. Also, I have not been wearing any of my jewelry since I got home because it's all been packed up. So I'm really excited to put some of this stuff back on. This jewelry box I got from Etsy. Okay Fine posted it in her Instagram story and I nabbed it, and it is about twice the size that I thought it was going to be. It's huge. I love it. And I will include this in the jewelry tour when we get there. This bag was made for me by a friend. Tried to grab bags and baskets and things that I actually gave a crap about if I was going to be bringing them along. Another strawberry apron. But this one is a full length situation. She's great. This apron, I have something in it. Yes, I do. It came from France, from the same place where I got this little glass. They were serving us water, I think, in these little glasses at this little cafe. And I was like, I want that. And they were like, you can buy it. And I was like, yes, please. So I did. And I just bought the one. So not a set or anything. It's just the one tiny little glass. I don't watch football. My grandmother was a Buffalo Bills fan. Buffalo Bills apron. I collect tiny forks and spoons and knives, like this little carousel horse. Got this in Paris. And then my partner's mom recently gifted us a whole bunch from her collection of really amazing little spoons and forks in this creamer canister, this little silver creamer thing. So I just grabbed the whole thing. I was like, I'm not even gonna try and differentiate what's what or figure out what I need to take. I'm just gonna bring it all. And I had this little tiny bag, which I was like, what am I ever gonna use that for? It was just sitting in my kitchen waiting for this moment to shine. All right, the sun is coming in hot. We may need to adjust, but we'll see how this goes. More kitchen stuff. I like what I like. Pepper cannon. This is the world's most expensive, most extra pepper grinder, and I love it. It is my partner's. Technically, I got it for him as a present, but I am fully back in my sourdough bread era, so I did bring this along with me, along with Bradley Whitford, my sourdough starter. This is from Saab, the utensil company. It's technically a rice spoon, but I like it for a lot of different things. I think I also packed up another one of theirs. This is the cheese cleaver. Very handy. And then one knife that has sentimental value. My parents' best friends when I was growing up owned a Great Harvest bread company in the town near us, and it just reminds me of them. And one of them is no longer with us, and I don't get sentimental for a lot of things from my childhood. I guess aprons and knives excluded. I'm a photographer, so of course I did have to bring camera equipment. I kind of had that thought of like, if God forbid something happened and I couldn't make it back into my place, or I couldn't re-up my equipment before I had to shoot a wedding, what would I need on me in order to do that? So I've got my Profoto flash. My camera backpack is from Moment. I really love it, but it did not come with inserts, but I did have inserts that I already liked from a previous camera bag that I loved until it went kaput, but the company just like, I don't even want to say went out of business. They did go out of business. It was Vinta. They just disappeared one day. Like their email stopped working, their socials went offline, like everything. They made really good camera bags, but they're gone. I did not bring all of my camera gear. I got to that point when I was looking around my house and at how much space there was in the car, and the fact that I had to pack up both my stuff and my partner's stuff, and I could only take one car because there was only me to drive, that I knew I wasn't going to have room for all of it, and I had to make some choices. So I went with my Canon R5, and I guess the adapter is on here as well for my lenses. 51.2, 35 1.4, 100 macro. It's a really pretty portrait lens too. And then my workhorse, the 24-70 2.8. Memory cards, batteries, chargers, my laptop and charger and hard drive were in the back. First hard drive, that was my working hard drive, but all of my other hard drives are in a different bag because thing about being a wedding photographer, right? Like you can't lose hard drives. That's probably a number one. And my Invisalign, or my night guard. That's where that is. My old trusty banged up water bottle. Made sure I filled it up with clean water just in case. And if we want to get into the whole like what's actually in like the disaster kit part of the go bag, we could talk about that separately. We've got water bricks, we've got first aid supplies, we've got a generator with solar panels, rebar cutter and a crowbar, the things that you need in the event of a disaster. A lot of those are still in the car or in the garage because they're heavy. This is all of the things that I was like, oh, I have the essentials. Now what? I grabbed my mug. A ukulele. When was the last time I played my ukulele? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. I don't know. Is it tuned? Absolutely not. Did I pack it? Yes. I want to be able to give it to my niece someday was my thought process, and I was like, it can't go. It can't go. Also, I don't know, what if we're in a blackout and we just want to play instruments and sit around singing? This would come in handy. I do not think that this is how I'm supposed to store this. However, I was in a pinch. It's my grandmother's fur coat. That's got to go back in the closet. Fun fact, one time my partner and I were going to Paris. It's actually our first time going to Paris, that trip back in 2020. And we got to Burbank Airport. And we don't live too far from Burbank, but we got there and we had not packed the fur coat. We were going in the winter, but we were like, you know, there's not enough room. Why would we pack a fur coat? We got to the airport and my partner was like, I regret not packing the coat. I want to go back and get the coat. And I was like, we are at the airport. Like, we are actually at the airport. And he was like, yes, I'm going to turn around and go back and I will meet you here. And I was like, cool. If you don't get here in time to meet me here, I will see you on the other side because I'm getting on this flight. He made it. It came in handy, okay? It came in handy. He looked great wearing it in Paris. Giant photo album in here, but that's my partner's. We're not going through my partner's stuff. We're going through my stuff. If anybody comes from TikTok, then you might recognize this from the 7 bins of stuff my parents sent me when they moved out of their house. I've also got an entire, like, very extensive record collection that comes from my dad and my partner's grandfather. And I could not obviously grab all of that, so I did grab 2 things. One being, well, I guess this is still his, but his Ghost record, which I knew he would want. And then the one that I grabbed from my collection actually has nothing to do, I won't say nothing to do with the music on it, has less to do with the music on it than like the story of it. So it is the Woodstock album, which my dad swears he didn't do this, but absolutely did. Terrorized me as a kid by telling me that this was him. I had no reason not to believe him. This is cameras. Cameras, not professional cameras. That is, you already saw that part. This is different. We've got a toy camera, my little Holga, my instant camera, my Instax. I keep so many things in these old little Ipsy bags from 1,000 years ago. I have my point and shoot camera in there, little Panasonic. This purse actually had all of this in it, which I just got this whole setup for myself for Christmas. So I was like, I don't want to leave this behind. My 90s mom camera, the little Canon Sure Shot Max. This thing I got on eBay. It loves to eat my film, which is really fun. And then I have to like dig in there and roll it back out. Film for all of the different cameras. A little light that I actually bought for Neotropolis, a little cyberpunk desert festival, but it was one of the many things that I charged up when I thought there might be a blackout, so I brought it along because never know. From the 7 bins of stuff my parents sent me when they retired and moved out of their house. This was a pocketbook from the 70s. Have I ever actually used this thing? No, but it is very cool and it has this little guy in it. It's got a compass on one side and then a little measuring thing on the other and a pencil. Oh my God, it still has lead in it. It will like measure by rolling. Oh, yeah. Combined map measurer and magnetic compass. I did pack tarot cards. This was a package I was supposed to return for my partner because he was out of town and he was like, can you take this to the UPS store for me? And I was like, yes, I can totally do that. And I was really smart and remembered to pack it on the way. Okay, I'm gonna put that aside because I have to take that to the UPS store. I just threw all my toiletries in here. I did pack my LED red light mask. I feel like this is gonna take 17 years if I try and break down actually like every bit of makeup and skincare that I brought with me, but it's basically just like if I use it on a regular basis, I threw it in because I was like, I am gonna want it just to feel like myself. And what's funny is then I haven't really been wearing any of my favorites because everything has still been packed up and I haven't really felt that much like myself. It has less to do with like the wearing of makeup and more to do with just the ability to play with it a little bit. Like I brought my Chartreuse Kulfi eyeshadow, not because that's a thing that I wear every day or a thing that I need to be able to wear every day, but it is something that I like to have the option of playing with, and without the option for play, I feel a little bit stifled. That's also the way that I pack. Even though I'm a really good packer, like carry-on packer, I still like to give myself options when I go to a place because I don't like feeling like I don't have them. Skincare favorites, a lot of the things I've talked about before, the Tower 28 SOS spray, tretinoin, that comes from Alloy. Living Cleansing Balm from Then I Met You. I knew after I traveled the last time for like 3 weeks and I didn't take a cleansing balm with me, I was like, as much as I love a good gel cleanser, this is the Dew one, the Baptism, really love it. I need a cleansing balm to feel like my skin is actually living up to its full potential. Topical estriol cream, that also comes from Alloy. Little hair ties. This is an old brush head case from Quip. I hated that toothbrush way back in the day when I tried it, but I did save all of the little things that the brush heads ever came in order to use them for other storage stuff. The Way leave-in conditioner, where is it? I just grabbed the thing that I take with me when I travel. It's like a TSA approved size bag, and I have my little travel sizes that I just keep in here all the time, and I refill from the full sizes when I need it. My Inner Sense, My Way, and unopened Smart Me Isn't-Tree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel, one of my favorite sunscreens. This was the last of the toiletries that I packed up, like everything that I used before I left, including my zip attached to the charger. I did a lot of things right in my delirious state. Okay, so at the end of last year, I tried out a skincare product that this company sent to me, and it worked so well, so quickly, that I was like, do you ever get mad when something that's really expensive works the way that it says that it's going to? It worked so well so quickly that I was like, oh, I need to document this. So I stopped using it so that I could start using it in January, but have it be the only thing that was like the only variable that was changing in my skincare routine. And I packed it in the box. I guess it's probably gonna be February when I do this now, because January's been a time. Dr. Diamond's Medicine Emulsion Instafacial collection. They were the most expensive thing I've ever put on my face. Toothbrush, toothpaste, a buffing thing, and a cuticle clipper, some zit stickers. I'll be honest, I don't know if we even have time to get into clothes, but what I will say is this. I have spent a lot of energy, a lot of money creating a wardrobe for myself that brings me a sense of peace, that fits my body, that fits my life. A lot of it is thrifted, a lot of it is from small businesses, a lot of it is from limited runs, from sustainable businesses that only produce so much of each item. And when I was looking in my wardrobe, I was like, what do I bring? The first things I packed were some sweats and comfy clothes, because I was like, I'm probably just gonna be hanging out on a friend's couch for a couple of days. And then after that, I went, okay, pack something more durable. So I went with some jeans, canvas top, and Docs. Figured, worst comes worst, you have to run around in the outside world. Good to have something to protect you from the elements. And then later at night, watching the fire maps, having all of the essentials packed up, realizing that I had more time and more room in the car, I just stared into my closet and I was like, what do I even want? I love all of it. I love all of it. I don't give a shit about any of it in this moment, but I know that when the adrenaline wears off, I'm going to feel sad in the future if I lose access to some of these things. So I just started grabbing stuff, and I don't know if I picked the right stuff, and I feel a little bit weird going I mean, I guess we could. Let me know if you want to do a clothing version of this. Everything was kind of happening in that middle of the night delirium, and I was stress eating sumo citrus instead of having a glass of wine, because I was like, what if I have to get behind the wheel of a car, which I did at 5 a.m. after not sleeping at all, so good job me. But yeah, let me know if you want to do clothes. This is a poem that a friend of ours wrote to my partner on his birthday. It's in a frame that I got at an estate sale, and the poem is just made out of the labels and receipt from a nearby taco place. This is my best friend's wedding art. This is a painting made from a photograph that I took. It's not a photograph of me, but I found this artist that I really liked on TikTok, and I let her pick any photo from my website, and this is the one that she chose, and I adore it. 3 of these are from this women's art collective that I went to in Nicaragua. We got to meet the artists and chat with them. I don't have all of these framed particularly well, but I just love the prints themselves. And this piece I actually love so much that the artist took it directly out of her book. I had a little collage of Polaroids of our friends. I actually keep a whole basket of all of the Polaroids that we've taken. I think, yes, it is in here. 8 or 9 years of parties and friendcations. It's really fun, especially when we have a party and we have friends who have moved out of town or aren't able to come for some reason. I will grab photos of them out of the Polaroid bin and put them out at the party so it feels like they are in attendance in some way, or at least honored with their spiritual presence. Another personal camera. This one actually was my partner's family camera. Like, this was his dad's camera when he was growing up. So this one is super special. This is hard drives. Wedding photographer things. You've got a lot of hard drives, which contain a lot of people's memories. And I know a lot of us were pretty freaked out about the possibility of people only having backed things up on physical drives. I always say to back things up in 2 places, cloud storage and a physical drive, because you never know. If one is going to go down, at least you'll still have the other and you'll be able to back that up again. But I know that there are people out there who lost those memories. So just in case, always wanted to have the option to be able to access those again for folks. Another bag of film. This I thrifted recently. This was a scarf that actually, I bought it at a flea market. This was sort of like a turning point for me, going, oh, I need to, if I want to someday be a person who wears scarves, like I want to be an old lady who wears scarves and leopard print, to be honest, I need to be a person who wears scarves. Like, I need to start learning how to wear them, and why not start buying them at estate sales and flea markets and places where I can find silk scarves for cheaper. And that is what I did. And it's been a really fun little collection. Ashtray that I picked up at a flea market as well. One of my favorite ways to house things, just like corral little things on a tabletop. This is a necklace from my grandma. It says, "From Kenya with love." It is something that she gave to me and I plan on keeping forever. And at some point, I know that I will find the right thing to wear this with. I haven't found it yet, but I trust that I will. 2 candles from my favorite candle company, Hazeltine Scent Co. This Pasadena candle is the best smelling candle I have ever smelled. It is my home signature scent and I wanted to have it with me. 2 crocheted crowns made by my partner's sister. She makes homemade Christmas crackers, like the crackers that you put out at the Christmas dinner table, and makes homemade crowns to go in the homemade Christmas crackers. For New Year's this year, I had like an intimate little gathering of friends and I turned our dining room table into a vision board station. I packed my vision board. Told myself that 2025 is the year of getting out of my own way, of showing up for myself, of showing up even if things are messy or imperfect or not exactly as I imagined them to be. I don't know if this was the best intro to myself, but
Who are you talking to in there?
YouTube this time.
YouTube!
Tell them what a great job I did packing up all of your stuff.
You did such a great job, as I frantically sent texts saying, ooh, get the sword, and the other sword, and this costume, and these other costumes, and the armor, and, oh yeah, also passports, and legal documents.
Sure, but definitely, most importantly, swords.
The Chapel Roan sword, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.